What's going on, y'all? Five Sports Talk back at it with another video, talking some NBA, talking the 2017 NBA draft, which is now officially a wrap. So here to give you guys my winners and losers and draft grades for every team. Well, not every team, just the teams that I thought won and the teams that I thought lost. But disclaimer, before I get started, I'm not really into rewarding teams that did what they were supposed to do. Look, I know Philly moved up to get Markelle Fultz, and that was a great move for them. But Markelle Fultz was the #1 overall pick. He was the consensus #1 pick. So basically any team that had the #1 spot would have taken him. So can't really say Philly did an amazing job because they just did what they were supposed to do. So with that being said, really looking at teams that got good value picks, that did could work with the positions they were at, or maybe they traded up on draft day and whatnot. So gonna go with that logic, so just keep that in mind when I give you guys my winners and losers and my draft grade. So with that being said, let's get started. Let's go winners first. I thought the Sacramento Kings, yes that's right, the Sacramento Kings, shout out Vlade Divac and Vivek Ranadive, because they have been getting a lot of flack, and deservedly so, over the past 6 to 8 months after that Boogie trade. The Kings front office has been a mess, but if they didn't run this draft, I don't know who did, but whoever did needs to stay on the Kings front office because they did a very good job. They got De'Aaron Fox with their 5th overall pick. That was great value. Not value, but that was a great pick for them in that they got the point guard of the future, and a lot of people like De'Aaron Fox over even Lonzo Ball. Okay, so I really like De'Aaron Fox. So now you got your point guard of your future. Then they traded I believe the number 10 pick for the 15th and the 20th overall pick, and they took Justin Jackson with the 15th pick. I like this one too. You needed a wing. Justin Jackson's a good fit out of North Carolina. I think he can add to this team, and I think they got good value for him as well. Then they took Harry Giles with the 20th overall pick. Giles, very solid coming out of Duke. I thought he was going to be a higher pick, but this draft stock fell because he had injury concerns, and now he's going to join a front court with Willie Cauley-Stein, that European guy named Scally. I really can't pronounce his last name. It's going to be fun for the Kings because now they added to their front court as well. And then they took Frank Mason III. So he's probably going to be a backup point guard for them, but he can score the ball, so he's going to be good as well. So now you see direction. This is what I liked about the Kings draft, is there's a sense of direction. There's a sense of getting good character guys from winning programs like Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, guys like that. And now you're going to get a culture and hopefully cultivate a culture of winning. So now you add De'Aaron Fox with a Buddy Hield. That's your backcourt. You got Justin Jackson. Like I said, you got Willie Cauley-Stein. So the pieces, while very young, you see that the roster is getting rebuilt in the right manner. So I think the Kings did very good. I'm going to give them a solid A for this draft because no one saw the Kings coming with that front office doing this. Moving on, I will give the Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves are my next winner, and they get an A+++++. If I could add another plus to it, I would, because they stole Jimmy Butler from the Chicago Bulls when they traded away Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the 7th overall pick. Oh, and not only did they take Jimmy Butler, they also took the Bulls' 16th overall pick and took Justin Patton with that pick, and that was a great pick as well. He's going to add to their front court depth behind Karl-Anthony Towns and Gorgui Dieng, and that's a great pick for them. But like I said, this was flat out highway robbery for Jimmy Butler, who is going to join Andrew Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns and wreak havoc in the Western Conference, and you can expect the Timberwolves to be a playoff contender for years to come, okay? So they definitely deserve an A+ for their draft grade because, like I said, they got Jimmy Butler for 45 cents on the dollar. I made a video about this trade. Go check that out. It should be in the link in the description as well. Moving forward, the Lakers. Okay, the Lakers had a pretty decent draft. They took Lonzo Ball like everyone expected at #2. But then they had a bunch of picks that I thought they might have traded out of. They had the 27th and 28th pick, I believe. Anyways, they had a lot of draft picks that I thought they were going to trade out of. But they ended up taking a lot of those players. They took 3 more players after Lonzo Ball. They took Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, and Thomas Bryant. Now, Kuzma is a nice wing player who is going to add to their depth behind Brandon Ingram, and he can do a little bit of everything, so I do like him. And then you got Josh Hart, who is going to be able to immediately contribute to this team because D'Angelo Russell got traded, so there's room in the backcourt for minutes, so I like him as well. So I kind of like the fact that they didn't just put all the onus on Lonzo. They got a couple of guys in the backcourt and sort of in that wing spot to sort of alleviate the pressure off Lonzo and sort of help him by bringing those guys in. And then they also took Thomas Bryant. I think he's going to be a project, but you know what? He's a center. He's going to be behind Brook Lopez. Let's see how he develops. I'm going to give the Lakers a B for their trade. Like I said, I think it was good. I think it was solid, but nothing out of the park, okay? Finally, we are going to go to the Utah Jazz as my last winner. I'm going to give them a B+. They took... who was it? Donovan Mitchell. They traded up, I believe, the 24th pick and Trey Lyles for Donovan Mitchell, and he's going to be able to help. I like him a lot out of Louisville, I believe. He's going to be able to help their backcourt with George Hill set to be a free agent. They have Rodney Hood. They have Dante Exum. So I like the pick for them because they did need backcourt depth. And then after that, they took Tony Bradley. I liked him as well. He was ranked as a good prospect, I believe 6th through 9th. A lot of people liked him, even though he played limited minutes in college. And I think he's going to be a solid backup center behind Rudy Gobert. And let's see what happens. And with Trey Lyles out of the picture, there could be more minutes for him as well. And then finally, they took Nigel Williams-Goss. I believe it was like the 55th pick or something like that. Look, I know Williams-Goss isn't the second coming of John Stockton because they're both out of Gonzaga, but I do like this pick for them, folks. I think Williams-Goss is going to be a very, very good backup point guard. He reminds me a lot of Shaun Livingston. Think about Shaun Livingston in this league. Knows his role, plays like an adult, plays at a pace, just is a very smart, sharp player, and he's a Utah Jazz type of player. That's the best part about this pick, and I do think he will make the roster, and I do think he will play for this team. So a solid B+ for the Utah Jazz. So those are my winners. Now let's talk losers of the 2017 NBA draft. And the biggest loser is none other than my Chicago Bulls. So thank you, Gar Forman and John Paxson, for making Bulls fans and the Bulls in general look like idiots everywhere in the 2017 NBA draft after they traded away Jimmy Butler for what felt like 50 cents on the dollar, really 45, 30 cents on the dollar. Traded Jimmy away for felt like 2 bags of potato chips, okay? And I don't mean to disrespect Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, but they could have gotten much more, and they should have gotten much more than him, not to mention Lauri Markkanen. It's going to be a while for me to be able to pronounce his name properly. But with that being said, let's break down this trade. The Bulls traded away Jimmy Butler for those 2 players and Markkanen, who ended up being that 7th pick. But the worst part about this trade wasn't even those 3. The worst part about this trade was the fact that the Bulls couldn't even keep their own 16th pick. So not only do the Timberwolves get Jimmy Butler, they get the Bulls' first-round pick too. So now when you have committed to rebuilding, you still give up a pick to the Timberwolves. So you can't even draft players for the future. So like I mentioned, I broke down the whole trade. You guys can go check it out. Link for that will be in the description. So I don't want to go too much into detail about this trade. But like I said, Chris Dunn, horrible rookie season, which he averaged under 4 points a game. Zach LaVine, he did average just about 19 points per game, but he's coming off an ACL injury, and Lord knows Bulls fans know dealing with that is not fun. And then Lauri Markkanen, he is going to be a good shooter in this league, but can he defend anybody? And also, with the Bulls' shoddy point guard play, he really needs someone to set him up. So will he be able to excel with that when the Bulls don't really have a point guard at this point, like I mentioned? And then with the 38th pick in the 2nd round, they drafted Jordan Bell and ended up trading him to the Golden State Warriors for cash. I repeat, cash, $3.5 million, okay? So, wait, I thought you were rebuilding, but that meant you're going to trade away players for money. I just don't know at this point. Like I said, the Bulls get a D- from me. I could make it an F at this point, but it doesn't really matter. The Bulls were absolutely atrocious. Let's move forward. The Knicks, I mean, they did take Frank Ntilikina, but I thought they really passed. The only reason I'm making them a loser is because I think they should have drafted Dennis Smith. Absolutely, they passed on him. They passed on Malik Monk. And I could be totally wrong about Ntilikina like I was about Kristaps Porzingis. Well, I wasn't off Kristaps Porzingis. I just didn't know how good he could be. And the same thing could be with Frank as well. But we will see moving forward. I do think it'll take some time for him to develop. I don't think he will be able to excel like Porzingis did right away. But you know what? I thought Dennis Smith Jr. would have been a stud for the Knicks. I thought he should have been the pick absolutely. Malik Monk went to the Hornets at 11. I thought they passed on him as well, so I'm going to give the Knicks a C- for their draft. They did take someone in the second round. Damian Dotson is, I believe, how you say his name. But like I said, I thought they passed up on better prospects when they took the guy they took at number 8. The Celtics, my next loser, and I know they took Jason Tatum at 3, and I like the pick, but they're losers to me because Danny Ainge just can't seem to make up his effing mind, okay? He keeps hoarding draft picks. He keeps hoarding his assets, and he had a chance to get Jimmy Butler, and he couldn't top the offer that the Wolves gave for Jimmy Butler. Are you kidding me? You couldn't top Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and the 7th overall pick for Jimmy Butler? And not to mention that there were rumors about Paul George's deal, and they couldn't even agree on a deal for Paul George. So Danny Ainge just cannot seem to get his assets and trade them for a star. He keeps playing the fence. He keeps saying that he's going to wait. And you know what? He might just wait himself out of all these opportunities because they probably won't be there. Now he lost on Jimmy Butler. He could lose out on Paul George. And he's putting all his eggs in one basket and saying his assets are going to help him in the future. But you know what? I beg to differ. I think he should have totally went for it. I think he should have gotten Jimmy Butler or Paul George. And it remains to be seen if he could still get Paul George. But the longer we wait, the more doubts I have. So the Celtics, I give them a C+ for their draft rate. So there you have it, folks. Those are my winners and losers of the 2017 NBA draft. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.